Joining NBA Today, the aforementioned Kelsey Mitchell. Congrats on your and congrats on your 34-point performance. What did you have working there in Game 1 for you?
I think it was just about having confidence, for one, leaning on my preparation, and then my teammates, our chemistry, everything we've been through this season, kind of put us in position to really be us.
Kelsey Mitchell has finally spoken, and let's just say she didn't hold back on Caitlin Clark or the Indiana Fever. The cameras caught every word, and fans can't stop buzzing. Is it love? Is it rivalry? Or is it the most brutally honest teammate response we've heard in years? That's for you to decide. Question for you. Do you think Clark truly changed basketball? Drop your thoughts below. Because let's be real. Anytime a Fever player touches a microphone, someone's bound to ask about Caitlin Clark. That's not an exaggeration. At this point, it feels like an unofficial league rule. Reporters just can't resist. You could be chatting about the weather, dinner plans, or even traffic on the way to the arena. And suddenly, here comes the Caitlin Clark question. And who's in the hot seat this time? None other than Kelsey Mitchell.
And then you bring in Caitlin, who changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball. And as a friend and as a player, you grow to appreciate her because, certain doors have opened because she's come to the Fever, and you have to respect that. And I love the teammate and person in her because she's accepted it with so much grace and even welcomed us with open arms to, make this thing happen. So I think it just took a lot of big pieces to make,
The same Kelsey Mitchell who carried this franchise through its darkest days. The same player standing on the floor when Indiana was winning, wait for it, 5 games in an entire season. 5, as in you could count them on one hand and still have fingers left over. That's what she endured. That's the weight she carried while the rest of the league treated Indiana like nothing more than a practice scrimmage.
I love it because as much, people don't know this about Caitlin, but she has an unbelievable, funny sense of humor. And so I think the tweet was the tweet, but you just have to know CC to know that it's just nothing but love coming from that kid, and her energy and her effort to just kind of support our team is just her way of doing it.
So when Kelsey finally speaks on Clark, you know it's not going to sound fake. It's not going to be one of those, oh, she's great, she's helping us a lot cookie cutter lines. No, this is raw. And here's the thing. She admitted what everyone already knows but rarely says out loud. Caitlin Clark didn't just change the Fever, she changed basketball. Period. Kelsey said it herself. Clark shifted the world, shifted the entire dynamic of the game. That's not filler talk. That's one of your star guards staring into a camera and basically saying, yeah, without Caitlin Clark, none of this happens. And the best part, there wasn't a trace of jealousy in her voice. No side eye, no passive-aggressive digs. Just pure respect.
You guys have made the playoffs the last 2. What's been the big turnaround? How have you viewed the way the team has grown organically?
Oh, man, I think a big shout out to the organization taking time to rebuild. I think our draft picks ended up coming big. Lexi Hall was a big draft pick, and then you get Kaylin, and then you get AB. And so you culminate that together with, my experience and having to, go through a couple things before they got there. I think it was just like a match made in heaven, really, because I was, still at a young age to really, vibe and get to know these players for who they were. And then you bring in Kaylin, who changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball. And as a friend and as a player, you grow to appreciate her because, certain doors have opened because she.
Now that doesn't mean Kelsey forgot her own worth. She slipped in a reminder that she's been here grinding, carrying the rebuild and swallowing losses long before Clark ever showed up. And she's right. Without Mitchell's buckets, without her steady hand, Caitlin wouldn't even have the stage she's standing on. People forget, Mitchell is one of the most underrated scorers in the league. She doesn't get the national love, but she's the backbone that kept Indiana breathing. Let's rewind. When Lexi Hull arrived, the Fever was still terrible. Painfully terrible. The record was a punchline. Mitchell had to sit in presses, smiling while 5 wins got dressed up as progress. Then came Boston. Then came Clark. Piece by piece, the foundation shifted. And Mitchell, she adjusted. No sulking, no trade demands, no whining. She welcomed it.
God forbid Asia doesn't drop 40 for us. I thought it was really poor,
Kelsey Mitchell. What about the way she was playing today made it so difficult?
Well, one, she made every freaking shot, it seemed like. Long twos, short twos, threes, get the free throw line,
That's why her words carry weight. When she says Caitlin Clark changed the game, it's not hype. It's a veteran speaking truth. Mitchell has lived through both versions of the fever, the humiliation, and the rebirth. And she's sharp enough to know which version packs arenas, scores TV deals, and fills everyone's pockets. But here's where it gets even sweeter. Kelsey called Caitlin a friend. Not just a teammate, not just a colleague, but a friend. She celebrated Clark for embracing the team with open arms and handling the spotlight with poise. That matters because we've all seen superstars in other leagues play the diva role, making teammates miserable. Clark never went there. She made sure everyone ate. And make no mistake, Mitchell is eating. Her star has never shined brighter. She's dropping points, driving playoff runs, and finally earning recognition that should have arrived long ago. The twist is that Clark's arrival forced the league and media to finally look Indiana's way. Without Clark, maybe Mitchell keeps torching defenses in silence. With Clark, the whole world watches and Mitchell feels it. That's why she values it. Now, let's shift to something Kelsey mentioned that fans didn't see coming. The fine tweet. Remember when Caitlin Clark cracked that joke about her fine? The internet exploded. Some said she was starting riots. Others called it tasteless. Meanwhile, the Fever players themselves, they were laughing. Mitchell said they loved it because it revealed Clark's humor, a side the public rarely gets to see. That's the gap between teammates and outsiders. Outsiders pick apart every word. Teammates see the human behind the spotlight. Mitchell basically told the world, relax, it's just Caitlin being funny. That's how you know the locker room is solid. If Clark had rubbed them wrong, that tweet would have sparked chaos. Instead, it became an inside joke.
An MVP finalist this year with our own Chiney Ogwumike even saying that you had the best season of any guard this year in the league. What has it been like to get that kind of recognition and get your flowers?
Oh, I appreciate it. I've been to a lot throughout the course of my career with Indiana Fever. It's been like my longest, ever. So it's for me, it's a humbling experience to kind of see myself make waves from where it started to where it is now. And just kind of respect the game, lean on the game as far as creating bonds and friendships. And now you get to see us do that now.
And that brings us to the bigger picture, the core four. Mitchell, Clark, Boston, Hull. That's the foundation Indiana is stacking the future on. And Mitchell practically declared it untouchable. She even hinted she'd give up a paycheck just to keep it whole. Think about that. One of the league's deadliest scorers ready to sacrifice money just to keep the squad together. That doesn't happen in pro sports. That's rare. Why? Because Mitchell sees what's coming. She knows the Fever are sitting on treasure. This isn't just about chasing playoff wins anymore. This is about legacy. This is about building a brand. This is about shifting the balance of the league. 4 years, Indiana was the joke. Now they are the headline. The Fever reaching the finals on pure chemistry might sound cheesy, but it's real. Mitchell trusts it. Clark ignites it. Boston steadies it. Hull fights for it. Together, they've spun Indiana from a wreck into a threat. And everyone feels that next season could be even scarier. Now, let's get into why Mitchell's words cut so deep with fans. She didn't just celebrate Clark. She painted her as the one who unlocked doors. Mitchell admitted opportunities arrived because of Clark. Sponsorships, spotlight, fan energy. It's all linked to her presence. That kind of honesty feels rare. Most players would dodge that reality out of ego. Mitchell embraced it. But here's the other side, and Mitchell pointed toward it. 2. Clark's rise doesn't wipe away her teammates' value. She made it clear Clark isn't naive. She knows those first-team nods don't happen without Mitchell. She knows playoff wins don't come without Boston. She knows Hull's defense is vital. This is partnership, not a solo show. And that's what sets this Fever squad apart. The Aces, they're the A.J.A. Wilson show. Pull her out, and the whole thing falls. The Fever, entirely different story. Take Clark out and Kelsey Mitchell drops 30. Take Mitchell out and Boston goes beast mode. Take Boston out and Hull locks down defenders. It's balance, it's depth. And it's exactly why Indiana is scaring contenders who thought titles would be easy. And let's not breeze past the shade. Mitchell didn't throw haymakers, but her phrasing, talking rebuilds, draft picks, and battles, wasn't filler. They were reminders. She was here first. She lived through the losses. She endured being invisible to the league and the press. She shouldered the weight when no one else cared to. That's her subtle way of saying, don't erase me from this story. And she's right. Without Mitchell, the Fever don't survive long enough to draft Boston, let alone Clark. Fans may fall for the shiny new face of the franchise, but Mitchell's the one who kept the team from shattering. That's not jealousy, it's truth. She deserves her flowers just as much as anyone else on that roster. That's what makes this story so gripping. You've got Clark, who reshaped the game on a global scale, pulling record ratings and national spotlights. And you've got Mitchell, who kept the flame burning locally when the franchise was a punchline. Together, they are lethal. Apart, they'd both still shine, but not rewrite history. That balance is exactly what Mitchell put into words, and it's why Fever fans connect so deeply with her honesty. Social media caught it instantly. Clips from the interview spread like wildfire, and the reaction was overwhelmingly warm. Fans called her classy, genuine, and refreshingly real. No envy, no drama, just truth. The Fever faithful especially embraced it because it killed off the lazy narrative that Mitchell and Clark can't coexist. Everyone wanted conflict. What they got was respect. And when you think about it, Mitchell's angle is brilliant. By lifting up Clark while also underlining her own place, she elevated the entire team. She made it plain this isn't Caitlin Clark and the Fever. This is the Fever with stars who all count. That's the kind of message dynasties are built on. Because truth is, the Fever are marching toward dynasty territory. Nobody expected it to come this fast. A couple of years back, they were the team opponents circled on the calendar for an easy night. Now they are circled with dread. The Fever don't just win. They expose flaws. They play tough, selfless basketball and humiliate anyone not locked in for 4 quarters. That's how they crushed Atlanta. That's how they smacked Las Vegas in the mouth. And that's how they've stunned the league. Mitchell feels it. Clark feels it. Boston feels it. Hull feels it. That's why Mitchell kept talking about the core 4. You don't hear players casually offering pay cuts to protect a group unless they believe in something greater than themselves. That's how you know this team is different. It's not just about the next matchup. It's about rewriting the entire franchise's history. And let's not forget the growth. Mitchell has lived through the grind. She saw seasons wasted away. She carried teammates who weren't prepared, coaches who couldn't figure things out, and losses piling up like junk mail. That could have broken her. Instead, it hardened her. By the time Clark showed up, Mitchell was ready to bond with another star instead of clash with one. That's maturity. And Clark, she's not clueless either. Mitchell spelled it out. Caitlin isn't naive. She knows she doesn't make first team without Mitchell stretching defenses, burying shots, and pulling attention away. She knows playoff wins don't come without Boston owning the paint. She knows Lexi Hull's defense changes everything. Clark's wise enough to embrace that instead of fight it, and that's why this team thrives. Compare it to those squads where stars clash. You've seen it before. Big egos colliding, chemistry breaking, teams collapsing under their own hype. The Fever aren't that. Mitchell's interview showed it. She respects Clark. Clark respects her. And both of them respect Boston and Hull. That's balance. That's trust. That's why Indiana feels unstoppable when it counts most. Now, let's rewind to that fine tweet moment because it reveals everything about the chemistry. Clark joked about her fine. Outsiders panicked while Fever teammates laughed. Mitchell called Clark's humor unbelievable. That shows you what fans rarely glimpse. Clark isn't only a competitor, she's a locker room anchor. She keeps it loose. She keeps them laughing. And she makes the grind bearable. That's leadership in disguise. The public notices highlights, points, controversies. Mitchell notices the jokes, the smiles, the human side behind the star. That's why she respects her. That's why she calls her a friend. You can't fake that bond. And then there's the bigger vision. Mitchell basically declared, "We're not finished." Even if this year's finals slip away, the story continues. It just builds next season. Imagine Boston with another year of strength. Imagine Hull's defense growing sharper. Imagine Clark in year 3, steadier, calmer, more dangerous. And imagine Mitchell still scoring, still holding it all together. That's not scary. That's nightmare fuel for the league. And the Fever know it, too. Mitchell hinted they'll almost certainly run it back. Keep the core, add a weapon or two, and chase it again. That's how dynasties begin. Not by chasing every free agent, not by tearing up the roster for one shiny name, but by doubling down on what already works. And right now, Indiana works. So when Mitchell talks about friendship, don't dismiss it. This isn't corny. This is chemistry. This is the bond that makes a team greater than its individual stars. And honestly, that's why the Fever are thriving while others collapse. They trust, they respect, they play for one another. The bottom line, Kelsey Mitchell's words about Caitlin Clark weren't just sound bites. They were a statement that she sees Clark's influence. She embraces it, and she's fully invested in Indiana's future. She's not envious, she's not resentful, and she's not insecure. She's driven. That's the teammate you want when you're chasing something historic. And now the question looms, will the rest of the league wake up? Or will they keep underestimating Indiana while the Fever pile up wins? Because if Mitchell, Clark, Boston, and Hull stay locked in, the WNBA could have a dynasty brewing for the next decade. Kelsey Mitchell didn't just praise Caitlin Clark. She exposed why the Fever are the league's most dangerous team. Respect, chemistry, and zero ego. Do you believe this Indiana core is truly unstoppable, or can someone break them apart? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more sharp takes on the Fever's rise.